Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and today we're talking about the K2 Almanac. This is the 2025 model, but it's not changing for 2026. And this is a fun short wide for those that want a more mountain freestyle aspect to their short wide in comparison to boards like the K2 Excavator. This is more of a competitor to the dance hall, but it's a more damp take on that. This is a fun board to ride switch with, to have a more centered feel than the Excavator, but it still carves really well. It has a very damp all conditions ride, and while it's not super poppy, it still is pretty fun to turn an ollie, and overall I had a pretty good time with this. I rode this with my Nitro Team TLS boots and Union Force bindings. Got this in some very good spring conditions. Firm but fun and edgeable in the morning for the most part, into soft and very fun to turn and only a little bit uneven. Couldn't ask for better spring conditions. Wish I could have tried this in some powder, but the weather did not allow. I compared this against the Excavator 150 and 154. I also compared this against the Stranda Biru, and you can see my comparisons on Patreon for paid members. And this is an honest, objective review with zero brand oversight from K2. I can do that thanks to this nice, friendly community here and support from our sponsor, Blower Board Shop. They've been selling to snowboarders longer than most resorts have been allowing snowboarders on the hill. So if you want to support a great shop with a large online presence, click through our links to Blower Board Shop. It would be greatly appreciated. It helps us, helps Blower, and it helps snowboarding in general. So thanks. Now, when it comes to sizing, this 53 is perfect for me. I wouldn't want to go larger and wouldn't want to go shorter. Where I felt in between the 150 and 154 with the Excavator, this felt just right, especially for a short wide. You do have a tapered directional shape with 12 millimeters of taper in the tail versus the nose, which is a lot less than the 20 millimeters of taper with the Excavator. And this Almanac has two reference stances. It has the freestyle reference stance and the freeride reference stance. So not as much setback on board as the Excavator. That's about 4.625 inches back from center of board if you want to set it all the way back. This has a mellow camber underfoot with an equal amount of early rise before the nose and tail. You have ABS sidewalls that then taper down almost into a sandwich-like construction in the tip and tail. So let's talk Almanac Flex here. You can see it's more on the medium side, a little stiffer in the tail, and maybe a touch softer in the nose, but not super soft in comparison to the overall Flex. And as you can see, it's got some energy, but not as much as their higher end construction. Now let's talk about how this shape, construction, camber profile, side cut, etc. all works together to give you the on snow feel it has. You have a pretty stable, forgiving ride that I think could work for intermediates all the way up to experts, maybe even a committed beginner who wants to get a little weird and try a short wide to start out could go for it too. It's very stable, one footing, flat basing off a chair, and in all conditions you want to ride. It doesn't feel too sketchy. It's pretty easy to skid a turn, and this grip holds pretty well in borderline hard snow, but when it really gets firm to icy, you're really gonna have to dial back your turns, and there are better boards for that out there. But when it comes to hard, uneven snow, all the way up to soft, messy, uneven snow, this does an excellent job. It is a very damp, all-day ride. It's never gonna cause problems, and it's one of the best short wides I've ever tried in all conditions. For a board that's 27 centimeters over the front foot and 27.5 over the back for size 9s, this initiated a turn pretty quick. It's not the fastest of fast, but when I got this deeper side cut engaged, the turn was really fun. It really likes more across the groomer to circle carves, but it's fine with medium radius turns too, and then can graduate into down the line turns pretty well too. And this is damp enough to point it. You can go pretty fast with this if you want a straight line here and there. And if you want to carve, this drives out of a turn really well. It's not the poppiest and springiest. I did enjoy the excavator's construction and flex personality out of a turn more than this, but it's very good. And I could weight my turns any way I pleased, where the excavator seemed to favor a little more back foot weighted turns in comparison to this. And this is a centered 4000 base that holds its wax very well, but it isn't that fast. It's definitely medium tier for sure, but at least you don't have to wax it all the time. And it doesn't have those low lows. It just never really has those high highs in comparison to a lot of other nicer high-end bases. But it's not bad for the price point. And what's really fun is you can throw this thing around switch and ride it really well either direction. It's not perfect, but it's very good for a short wide. And it just reminds me of a much damper but less poppy Solomon Dancehall. That board could do the same thing too. And when it comes to buttering around, I felt it was easy but not super easy to butter in the nose and tail. Doable for most for sure. And the ollie power was good but not amazing. That's one place where I didn't enjoy this as much. This is a little heavier board in comparison to the excavator and the Dancehall. Those popped a little easier, but this tracks super well into side hits as well as jumps. If the side hit is small and tricky to get into, this wider platform isn't the best, but every other kind of jump, even into big kickers, this will handle no problem. This isn't a bad pipe board, but not the best jib board because of this somewhat medium to medium stiff flex, but advanced to expert jibbers could handle it. I didn't get this in powder, but being the kind of rider that I am that likes a setback directional ride and powder, I like to get a little bit surfy. I'm gonna like the excavator better there. That's just gonna have easier directional float, but this isn't going to be bad at all. I think a lot of people will have a lot of fun with this, either taking it centered and occasionally riding switch and powder. They'll really like that. But if you want to set it back and get a little bit more directional float than most all mountain boards out there and be on par with a lot of free ride boards, I think this will do a good job. Wouldn't be my first choice for low angle powder, but medium to steep angle powder would be a lot of fun on this. And overall, I really enjoyed this K2 Almanac. I would love to see what it would be like if they did the same kind of construction and top sheet they do with the excavator. That would just make this board incredible. But as it stands now, it is incredibly damp and it is an amazing all-day ride. So if you liked the Dancehall, but you wanted something more damp, better all day, this could be a really fun choice. So there you have it.